Direct from the Broski Nation headquarters in Los Angeles, California, this is the Broski Report with your host, Brittany Broski.
They say you catch more flies with honey. Dead bodies also work. Though the question remains why you want flies at all. Trust me, they will come soon enough, and I've heard they go for the eyes first. Welcome, my dear fellows, ghouls, goblins, and gals, to the Broski Nation Emporium and Macabre Oddities Department. I'm your host and owner, Brittany Broski, and here today I'm enjoying a delightful oat milk vanilla cortado. A Victorian favourite. A Victorian favourite, a lavender matcha oak latte. Welcome, as I've previously stated, to the new and improved Broski Report set. Here on my table you will find an eccentricity, an eclectic collection of Victorian oddities. And can I just say, I've never felt more myself. Look at this, unironically, this is my look. Are you out of your fucking mind? Look at me. I've never looked better. I've never looked better. In all my 20 years of living, I've never truly looked better. Wow. Welcome back, guys! Is it even close to Halloween? No. And that's how you know I'm about this shit for real. This isn't a costume to me. This is what my soul looks like. And I've just now discovered it at the ripe age of 20. In my 20 years of living, it took me that long to figure out this is what it's all about for me. Truly. Okay, guys, things are happening. Things are always happening. Something amazing has happened and a shift is occurring and you are watching it in real time. I am delighted and also enthralled to welcome you to the new era of Broski Report and of Broski Nation as a whole. We are going back in time, as it were, to a much more hostile and dark, macabre environment. Really a milieu few can survive in. One that dances with the macabre. One that invites in the spook of it all. Really, to connect with the spirituality of oneself is something not for the weak-hearted. I've been down this fucking gothic Victorian rabbit hole, bitch. I fear I've connected with my inner self. I fear you're looking at my inner self. And it's, this is not what I thought it was. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta look at yourself in the mirror and go, oh, that's really what this shit's all about. Okay? What you buy one Nosferatu-inspired Victorian nightgown, and it's all downhill from there. Everything else just kind of falls into place after that. And by the way, shout out to La Femme Noire. Got this. I did a shoot recently that I'm so excited for y'all to see. It will be coming out for the holidays. And I met a beautiful young woman there named Joanna. And she was wearing a nightgown like this. And I go, bitch, where the fuck did you get that? Where did you get that? And she goes, oh, La Femme Noire. It's the Ellen nightgown. Oh, so my life is forever changed. Oh, so now I can walk around my house. Come to me on the third night. Look, for Halloween, what I'm thinking about is I'm going to do... Remember when Pearl was on Drag Race and one half of her was fucking... It was like a showgirl and the other half was a gentleman? I'm going to do that, but one half is going to be Nosferatu and the other half is going to be Lily Rose Depp. That's what I see for myself. I'm already working on the fucking outfit. If there are any designers who want to help me do that, you know what business email to fucking hit. I need it split down the middle, Count Orlok on this side, Ellen this side, okay? Come to me. On the third night, this counts as the first night. Right? Deliver yourself to me. Her bitch-ass husband really went in there and said, yes, Count Orlok. Her submissive-ass cuck husband said, whatever you want, Count Orlok. Take my baddie wife. I don't care. Please just don't kill me. Pussy, bro. Okay. Guys, like I'm saying, lots happening. I'm discovering new interests I never thought I had. I've been, for the first time in my life, watching movies that I've been putting off, that I've really always wanted to see, and I've never sat down to actually watch. Y'all know that I watched Coraline. You know that I loved it. You know that I watched, what the fuck else did I watch? Oh, I watch Corpse Bride every year because that's one of my favorite movies ever made. Yeah, better than Nightmare Before Christmas. I'll say it. Yeah, I'll say it with my fucking chest. The Corpse Bride is way better than Nightmare Before Christmas. I think that realm of movie, I was limiting myself, right? I'm like, oh, gothic, spooky, animated, whatever. Let's keep it there. No, girl. I listened to Broskination, which I do sometimes, right? And you guys recommended Pan's Labyrinth. Also, my friend Elizabeth recommended Pan's Labyrinth. I was like, let me give it a try. Dude? Hold on. I can't even get into Pan's Labyrinth yet. I have so many other things. Okay, other movies that I've watched include Elvira. Let me tell you something about Elvira. Okay, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, Mistress of the Night. I had always seen Elvira as, you know, like a visual reference for a lot of like glam. There's like, oh, what about like Elvira when it comes to a gothic, sexy, whatever. But I'd never actually sat down and watched the movie. Oh my God. RuPaul is Elvira. RuPaul stole her whole shtick from Miss Elvira, girl. I was laughing out loud. That movie truly, like that whole generation and era of kind of off the beaten path comedy. But how do you even describe it? Like overly sexual, but deeply intelligent, witty women. There's the whole, like, I can totally see now, as a fan of Drag Race, and I've been a fan of RuPaul for so long, I'm like, oh, yeah, duh. Because he always references all those movies, and I'm like, yeah, I should watch that one. Or even shit like Joan Crawford, or like Mommy Dearest, Elizabeth Taylor, all these, you know, who's Jackie Kennedy's sister, who was Edie, little Edie, like all these things. Of course, I know them through the grapevine, these pop culture references of a time way before ours now. And to be honest, like to understand those references, you have to understand the cultural zeitgeist of like the 1940s, the 1960s, the 1980s. And like, unless you have a deep-rooted interest in understanding those things, you're not going to get it, because some of the jokes that are made within those movies, within those whatever, it's like you have to know other things going on at the time. I digress. Elvira was one, bitch, I enjoyed every minute of it. Very, very funny to me. Very spooky, kooky. And the classic joke that, of course, all of us have enjoyed, me and Coleman Domingo especially, of how's your head? That's from Elvira. I always knew that just because it's funny and because of, you know, whatever. But that it's from Elvira. Oh my God, I had laughed so hard. Okay, Elvira was one I really enjoyed. She does this incredible burlesque routine at the end of the movie. Oh, wow. Go watch Elvira. Watch it on YouTube. Another one I watched that I've always wanted to see, I've never seen the original, is The Addams Family. If you would say that the 1991 movie is the original Addams Family movie, obviously The Addams Family was a fictional family created by Charles Addams, who used to be a cartoonist for the New Yorker in like the 50s. Maybe the 60s. No, it was the 50s. When was the first Addams Family cartoon published? 1938. Damn! 1938. And they were just little blurbs published in the New Yorker. Well, they had a TV show. There was an Addams Family TV show in the 60s. It was black and white. And then there was an animated series made in the 70s. I mean, this is IP that's been consistently recreated. But the 1991 Addams Family movie, y'all, if you've never seen it like me, I was laughing. That shit is still so fucking funny. That's my sense of humor. And I'm so glad I found it, because I played Grandma in the Addams Family musical when I was in high school. And the musical is very different from the movie. The musical, I honestly think Grandma is funnier in the musical than in the movie. They kind of misused her character in the movie a little bit. Oh my God, there's this one scene in the Addams Family musical that, yeah, I was killing the audience because I'm funny as fuck. And guess what? Even as a 17-year-old, I was killing that shit. There's one line where they're at a family dinner. Okay. They're downstage. It's the whole family. It's Morticia, Gomez, Pugsley, Wednesday, Fester, Cousin Nate, whatever. We're all sat there. And I'm at the end of the table. They're all fighting. Okay. Everyone's fighting, whatever. And I stand up and I have something I really want to say. And the character takes a pause. I just peed. That's the line, okay? And I would say it different every time that we did a performance, and I would make my castmates break, because that's the theater. Hey, babe, that's the theater. The goal of live, dramatic, theatrical comedy is to make your castmates break. That's the point, right? And so I'd say it different every time, or I'd act like I was trying to push out a fart, or I would, I'd check myself after whatever. And I delivered the line differently every night. That shit was so fucking funny. We had to literally pause and wait for the audience to stop laughing. And it's also one of those things where you're not supposed to do this, but girl, I'm an improv queen. I would improv after that. I'd be like, yeah, I just peed. What can I say? Look, you served me this shit. No, I don't want to hear, like that sort of thing. Every single time you're bantering with your castmates. Oh, wow. I need to do community theater or something. I kind of miss being on stage. I hosted Brandcast, which was it's for YouTube. It's like an advertising conference. And I hosted the live stage in front of all these advertisers. And obviously it's a stage production. So they were running it like a theatrical play. And there was a stage manager. There's all these cues. There's people on the headsets. There's whatever. And I was like, wow, I miss this. Wow. I miss acting in a theater. I don't know if I don't want to act on screen. That's not a dream of mine. But one day, I'll return to the stage. I'm thinking about it. I've thought about it. It would have to be the right show, and it would have to be the right role. And I would also have to not do anything else for the 6 to 12 months of however long the run is, however long rehearsals are, whatever. But I really do think about it a lot. Anyway, Addams Family movie. Wow. Wow. So funny. Also, Raul Julia, hot, sexy. I was horny watching this fucking movie. Watch the Addams Family movie. Hi, sir. Oh, hi, sir. Wow, he is sexy. And Morticia, the Morticia. Come on, Angelica Houston, is that her name? Huston. Come, like the iconic, the classic. That's Tish. Oh, you mean Tish, my mother? Wow, go watch the Addams Family movie. Then, Addams Family Values, the sequel, arguably funnier. Arguably in the way that Grown Ups 2 is funnier than Grown Ups 1, okay? I was laughing! That shit is funny! Okay, now I'm on this kick, right? I've watched Addams Family, I'm doing all this, whatever. I've been a longtime fan of The Twilight Zone, and I've always had this, my mother is a damn ghost hunter. I've had this affinity for the macabre. For a while, really. And it goes back to the dawn of time, really. Humans are quite intrigued by the macabre, the spooky, the kooky, the ooky, even. And so I'm trying to tap into, what is it that I like? Oh my God, also reading Picture of Dorian Gray. I've loved Dracula. Y'all know I was addicted to Nosferatu. Come to me. So it's I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. And this is what I've settled on. This set is what I've settled on. Hit the wide shot. This is me now. So, with that being said, because I have the features, actually, let me talk about Pan's Labyrinth really quick, and then we'll move on. Pan's Labyrinth? What is it? Labyrinto de la fauna? De la fauna? Labyrinto de la fauno. El labyrinto del fauno. Fauno. That's what that fucking movie was? I thought this shit was so heavily reblogged on Tumblr. The iconic guy with the eyes in his hands that's scary as fuck, obviously. Hey, there's nothing more terrifying that's ever been made. This shit, where he's staring at the table with his big fucking nose holes. Get your hole out of my face. I don't want to see your big fucking holes, okay? She runs into that room, and the fairies are, and there's the big feast, and the big fawn is like, don't eat that shit. I'm telling you, don't. Okay, let me explain the plot for people who haven't seen it. 1940s, Civil War, Spanish Civil War, okay? Franco, as we know, scary, fascist dictator. There are some loyalists to Franco. Our main character is a young girl named Ophelia, which, by the way, I don't ever want a child, but if I were to ever have a child, I have a list of things that I would want the child to learn. Being an instrument very, very early, because that taps into a part of your brain that most people never get to unlock. A second language, arguably even a third language. Imagine having a trilingual child. It's so much easier to learn those things when you're a child. And then I would have them, I made a list, hold on. Oh, this is, I literally wrote a note. What I'll teach my kid, second or third language, instrument of their choosing, chess. They're learning all those things really young. I could give a fuck about putting my child in sports. By the way, I'm not having a kid. I'm talking about my invisible, imaginary, never happening child. I'm not putting them in sports. To teach them such brutish, violent behaviors so young, for what? To be the most physically intimidating, the most physically agile. None of these things ultimately matter in my mind, okay? It's such a brutish thing. Like, I don't want... That to me is not impressive. It's not something that should be lauded. It's not something that... Obviously, I'm talking about, like, the competitive nature of children in sports. This idea of being better than someone because they're, you know, on varsity, JV, whatever. Y'all know how I feel about the mind is the strongest muscle that we all have. The mind is the greatest tool, the greatest weapon that we're all gifted. And it's about how sharp you keep that tool. Sports, I could give a fuck, okay? It's a complicated thing when you get into like the Olympics and whatever. There has to be the best of the best. And some people were born to be athletes. Sure, I believe in that. My kid? No. If he's like, they. If my child, they. Are like, I want to do this, I want to do that. The only thing my kid's allowed to do is ballet. The only physical activity that I'm permitting is ballet. Okay? Get your ass in the point shoes and get out on that motherfucking stage. And I mean that. We're not doing soccer, we're not doing football, we're not doing rugby, we're not doing whatever. If you can get hurt in a way, for what? At least with ballet, there's art involved, right? You have to learn the story of the ballet. The ballet is telling through motion, it's telling a story that involves real human emotions, real relationship dynamics. It's to the most stunning music ever composed, like all these things. Okay, fine. If you get hurt doing ballet, that's understandable because it was in pursuit of art. It was an artistic endeavor. If you get hurt smashing headfirst into someone playing football and you're brain damaged for the rest of your life, unforgivable. Unforgivable. Why would you do that? What was the point? Okay? For entertainment? Okay. I digress. What the fuck was I talking about? Oh, Pan's Labyrinth. Oh, El Labyrinto. If I were, all that to say, if I were to ever have a kid, I would name them Ophelia. If I had a little girl, I would name her Ophelia. What a beautiful name. Ophelia. And it would be the Spanish version. It wouldn't be Ophelia. Ophelia. Wow, gorgeous. Okay, so we follow the story of a little girl, Ophelia. Her mom has just married a captain of the Franco Loyalist Army. Ooh, fascist sympathizer! And so she obviously doesn't want to go. She's being dragged along. She loves fairy tales. She's reading fairy tales. The story opens with a retelling of a fairy tale. A princess of the underworld, okay? Who's got trapped up in the mortal realm, who's longing to return home because she's a princess and she misses her family and whatever. The story goes that this new stepdad of hers is cruel. He is a cruel, sadistic, fucking weirdo. And it's always those men who are in charge of, you know, so they have such power that they wield, ultimately for evil. A long story, I don't want to ruin the movie if you've never seen it, but Ophelia is running through this camp that the army has stationed at, and they find an old abandoned labyrinth that's been there for centuries. When it's dilapidated, it's falling apart, but it's got these cool engravings and these, like, she's drawn to it. So she finds her way through the labyrinth. She goes all the way down. She meets this faun. Okay, at first, scary ass faun. I don't like this faun. Negative energy from the faun. Then, hey, I trust the faun. I trust the faun almost a little bit too much. I trust the faun more than I trust any of the humans in her world. And the faun is telling her, princess, oh my God, we've been waiting for you, girl. Okay, you know the drill. To get back home to the underworld, you got to do 3 tasks for me. You got to do 3 pruebas. And here's the first one. You got to go do this, do whatever. She's like, okay, yeah, for sure. 100%. She's doing it. Other things are happening in the background of the movie. The second trial she has to do is she has to go to this put him up here. This scary ass dude with his holes. He's got his holes open and out. There's a child in the room. He's in front of the table. Okay. His long ass fingers. Love Guillermo del Toro, by the way, because no one does a monster movie like Guillermo del Toro. Wow. And y'all have been recommending that I watch The Shape of Water. I'll get there. Okay. I want to watch his other one first. I need to look up the name. I'm going to watch that before I watch Shape of Water. I love a scary monster because they're scary and creepy and cute. They're kind of cute. The fawn, after a while, I was like, yeah, your ass is kind of cute. I trust you, low-key. Okay, so she goes in this room, and the fawn's like, okay, gotta tell you something. Here's this key. You need this key to go in there. I need you to unlock this box. Get me the shit that's in there, but don't eat shit off the table. There's going to be a big feast. It's going to look really delicious. Don't eat anything off the table. I'm warning you. Okay? You hear me? She's like, yes, I hear you. He's like, okay, go. She goes. What does her bitch ass do? She eats something from the table. Bro, the fawn literally tells you not to do that. Is that the one they don't do is eat the shit off the table? And so the scary ass skin monster who eats kids, he's sitting there at the table. And she eats that grape off the table, and he does. He takes the eyes and pops that shit in his hands and then does. That screenshot on Tumblr, all my spooky bitches, all my spooky friends in high school used to reblog that shit thinking they were so artistic and cool. And I remember being like, y'all are fucked in the head. What is that? Who is voluntarily sitting down and watching that? Me. Oh, me. Who's sitting down and being like, yeah, best movie ever? Okay, me. And for the record, I'm sorry. Anyone who's ever told me to watch Pan's Labyrinth and I said, you bitches are weird, I take it back. I take it back because look at me now. Who's laughing now, y'all? Oh my God. So the end of this movie, very, very tragic. I'm not even going to try to explain it because holy shit. So tragic. And at the end, the fairy tale comes to life, right? Like this world that there's so many stories happening simultaneously where if you want to take the literary, like the critic in me, not the critic, but maybe the analytical side of me, this is what I want to talk about. Arguably, there is a conclusion or a deduction that can be pulled from this movie that everything that happened with the fawn, with these trials, it was all in Ophelia's head because she was trying to construct a way in her, the girlhood brain of how to cope with such unimaginable trauma and cruelty at such a young age. She loses her mother. Her stepfather is a cruel tyrant who is abusive, both physically, verbally, mentally, everything. Literally tells the doctor, his wife is pregnant, Ophelia's mother, if it comes down to it, save the baby. Don't save her. You better save my fucking son. And the doctor's like, right. And Ophelia hears that and she's like, what the fuck? So it's that, like this, you're faced with this unimaginable cruelty, like truly unfathomable to the average person. How, as a young girl, are you supposed to make sense of that? There's no rhyme or reason to it other than the pursuit of power. But all of these concepts are kind of too cerebral and too adult, quote unquote, to give rhyme to reason. And so one can argue that she constructs this world in her head that's based on these fairy tales that she's been reading to make sense of it all and as an escape. And I like this theory because as fun as it is to think, oh, the fawn is real, all of these trials and tribulations that she goes through with these scary monsters and these, ethereal fabricated realities and whatever, where she's going in and out of different dimensions and then coming back, not unsimilar to Coraline, where it's like, was that real or was that just some form of a mental trick of, be appreciative of what you have sort of thing, like to a reminder to be present. At the end of the movie, she dies, but there are these beautiful, oh my God, it's just a fucking masterpiece. There's this beautiful back and forth of her dying in the real world to save her baby brother, And it's one of those bittersweet moments. I have chills thinking about it. It's one of those bittersweet moments of they've defeated the fascist. They've shot and killed, this cruel stepfather, and the rebels won, and not without a great cost, though. And Ophelia gave her life to protect an innocent who was her baby brother. This ultimately was sort of her integrity and her understanding of this is the right thing to do. No one had to tell her to do that. And in doing that, she's rewarded in the afterlife by returning home to her real, ancestral family and maintaining the role of princess and finding, it's her mother from the real world who's down in the underworld with her and all this, where it's true happiness that she's been seeking the whole time that, she lost her father tragically. Her mother struggled with her health. Her stepdad was cruel. All these external factors for her to return to, in her head, her real belonging, her happy place. This fairy tale that it doesn't really matter if it was real or not. It was in her head. And I just like this dichotomy of showing her dying and bleeding out on the ground. And then the camera pans down as her blood is dripping down into the underworld where she meets her real father and she meets her mother. And I can't even tell you how hard I was crying. I literally went on Instagram. I said, that's what that fucking movie was. That's what that movie was. With the hole man, bro, with his holes out. Oh my God. A masterpiece, a masterpiece, a masterpiece. Holy fuck. Wow. So, all that to say, Jesus fucking Christ, what a masterpiece. What's the other Guillermo del Toro that I wanted to watch? Nightmare Alley. Some of y'all had recommended Nightmare Alley to me because guess what? I believe it's not Gothic. I think it's World War II. Yeah, here we go. In 1940s New York, down on his luck, Stanton Carlyle endears himself to a clairvoyant and her mentalist husband at a traveling carnival. Yeah, that's up my alley. Using newly acquired knowledge, Carlyle crafts a golden ticket to success by swindling the elite and wealthy. Hoping for a big score, he soon hatches a scheme to... Shit's not loading. Awesome! Oh, it's based on a book. It is a study of the depths of show business and its immoral inhabitants. The dark, shadowy world of a second-rate carnival filled with hustlers, scheming grifters, and Machiavellian femme fatales. Yeah, bitch! I need to tap the fuck into this because guess who's in it? Guess who's in it? Tom Hiddleston! It's Bradley Cooper? Tom Hiddleston... Victorian... Oh, sorry, I'm confusing the two. Crimson Peak is the one that I'm thinking of. Crimson Peak. Nightmare Alley is the Guillermo del Toro one I wanted to watch. This one is another one I wanted to watch. This is Mia Wasikowska and Tom Hiddleston. And this is based in... It's English. It's English and fucking... Oh, he also directed this one. It's set in Victorian England. Yeah, I'm probably watching this one tonight. Yeah, it's Guillermo del Toro también. Okay, yeah, I need to tap into both of those because both are kind of freaky as fuck. They're freaky as fuck. Okay, let me go back to... What the fuck was I gonna say? Oh, you want to know something else I wanted to Google? How did the Addams family get rich? This is from AI Overview. The Addams family's wealth primarily comes from a combination of inheritance and savvy investments. They also come from a long history of wealth, with Gomez being descended from both British aristocracy and Spanish royalty, and Morticia from a long line of witches. They owned a swamp and discovered an oil deposit underneath, according to Forbes. Hey, Forbes, Gomez Addams isn't real. Okay, so he was doing swamp oil. So Gomez Addams knows about swamp oil, sure. Okay, very, very interesting to me. Okay, so yeah, Pan's Labyrinth, wow. What else the fuck did I watch? Oh, you know what? Tonight I'm gonna watch Crimson Peak. I'm gonna watch Clue. Stanley recommended I watch Clue if I liked Addams Family because I was like, I was laughing. He goes, bro, I promise you're going to love Clue. That shit's funny. Okay, fine, I'll watch it. I literally feel like that meme of just got into movies. Just got into movies, starting at the beginning. And it's like that first ever film where they filmed a train and the audience who watched it, like in the 20s, thought that the train was literally coming through the screen and everyone screamed. Just starting to watch movies. Getting into movies, let me know where to start. Anyway, okay, here's the little game that I wanted to play today because, as we all know, everything about me is Victorian, unfortunately, down to my forehead and the way that I smell. Y'all are lucky I got all the teeth in my head because y'all, if I would have been alive in the Victorian era, I'm telling you, you know this already. I would have been stinky and big and rotting. Oh, I would have had sores, just pussy sores. I would have been missing almost all my teeth. I want to talk like this. You're right, governor. Are you fucking all right? I would have sold bread. I would not have been an aristocrat. I would have wanted to be, and I would have acted like it, right? I would have been one of those hoity-toity, lower middle class people like, it just ain't right the way they's talking. It's no fucking decorum. Except I would have been like super lower middle class. My husband would have fucking hated me. I would have cheated on him. I would have probably hung out around the male brothels before that shit was kind of shut down. I would have been hanging out just for some friends. You know, all the gay people. What you lot doing? Oh my days, hello darling. I would have hung out because that's where the fun was. You know what I mean? I would not have been a homemaker. I would not have been, because we wouldn't have been able to afford, you know, a butler, a valet, a maid, a housekeeper. No, babe, it's me. And I wouldn't have done that shit. You fucking do it. You've got 2 hands and 2 legs. I ain't fucking doing it. Make your own fucking tea, darling. I'll be back later. I'm going down to the brothel. I'm going to see the boys. Hello, boys. But I'm not flirting with them. I'm hanging out. This episode is sponsored by Cash App. One of the coolest things about Cash App is that you can design your own debit card. You can pick from a bunch of different colors and patterns, add your favorite stamps, doodles, or even you and your friends' inside jokes to make it totally unique to you. Maybe a beautiful Art Nouveau or Art Deco print. Something with taste, class, and glamour. Am I right, team? You also get savings on stuff you're already buying. Cash App customers can get exclusive discounts for things like coffee, boba, video games, and more. And if you're the type who loves concerts or exclusive drops, your Cash App card gets you early access to ticket sales for huge tours like Kendrick Lamar and SZA and Sabrina Carpenter. You also don't need to worry about any random monthly charges or minimum balance requirements. It's a finance tool that works for you, with awesome perks and a look that fits your vibe. Why settle for a boring card when you can make one unique to you? Take control of your money today with Cash App. If you're between 13 and 17, you can still sign up. Just ask your parent or guardian for help to open up a Cash App sponsored account. For a limited time only, new Cash App customers can use my exclusive code to earn additional cash. For real! If you're over 18, just download Cash App, and after you sign up, use my exclusive referral code Broski in your profile, and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account when you send $5 or more to a friend within your first 14 days. Or if you're 13 to 17 years old, request a sponsored account from a parent or guardian, and once you sign up, use my exclusive referral code Broski in your profile to get $10 dropped right into your account when you order and activate your free Cash App card and send $5 or more to a friend within your first 14 days. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC. Direct deposit, roundups, overdraft coverage, and discounts provided by Cash App, a Block Inc. brand. Visit cashapp.com/legal/podcast for full disclosures. This show is sponsored by Liquid IV. As summer draws to a close and the autumnal chill crests the horizon, how about soaking up the last bit of summer? Capture sun-drenched memories with the Orange Vanilla Dream Hydration Multiplier from Liquid IV. This nostalgic vanilla flavor with notes of candied orange can help keep you hydrated better than water alone. Visit liquidiv.com and use code BROSKI at checkout for 20% off your first order. I love Liquid IV because it's so convenient. I travel a lot and I always keep these little packets in my carry-on. I am personally partial to the watermelon and strawberry flavors, but you can't go wrong with any of the options. Staying hydrated should count as part of your skincare routine, I believe, and Liquid IV has 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, 8 essential vitamins and nutrients, and always non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free. Savor the last bits of summer with Liquid IV. Tear, pour, live more. Go to liquidiv.com and get 20% off your first order with code BROSKI at checkout. That's 20% off your first order with code BROSKI at liquidiv.com. Okay, so here is essentially something I've had my wonderful squire, Elizabeth, research for me and compile into a document, and I thought we'd go through them together, okay? By the way, can you see my beautiful little teacup? It's a little sparrow with a bowler hat on. It's got a bowler hat on. I just think that's so fucking funny. That is quite funny, that. And then this little Victorian... This was from, The Nevers. HBO The Nevers and Hendrick's Gin did a collab, and they sent me a PR package. Adorable. I kept it. It comes with a teapot, and it had this little, what are those called? A diffuser, you know, that you put the tea leaves in, you put it in, and then it's a little mini teapot. Oh, my penis is hard. I love a fucking trinket, dude. I love a tiny, overly intricately designed, and oh my God, I have so much to talk to you guys about. This episode's gonna be 3 hours long. I found out the difference between Art Deco and Art Nouveau. Remember I said that about 100 episodes ago? I was going to talk about it. I'll talk about it in a second. Let me go through this Victorian list. Actually, no, I'll talk about it now. Because it's my fucking show. And you bitches don't get to tell me what I get to talk about and what I don't get to talk about. Because it's my fucking show. Art Deco. Okay. Let me kind of describe what I know. And then we'll go into the research portion, okay, to get some more specifics on it. So Art Nouveau and Art Deco are confused a lot because they have some similar design elements, but truly at their core, they're very, very different. Art Nouveau was turn of the century, 20th century. It began around the 1890s, ended 1910. So there was about a 20-year reign where Art Nouveau really was, there was a reason it was called Art Nouveau, because Nouveau in French means new. And this was something new in terms of we've never seen something so whimsical before. Art Nouveau predates surrealism. And of course, all of this is kind of, I'm not an art historian, but this is just from, I love the game. That the more you know about that time period and history, some art historians will say that Art Nouveau paved the road for Art Deco and that was the jump, but you're missing surrealism when you say that, because Art Nouveau, the argument for its emergence is, think about the 19th century. There are so many wars. There's so much destruction. There is so much civil unrest. We're also dealing with the Industrial Revolution globally, okay? Some countries got it before others. Still, the impacts had a ripple effect on society, on culture, on the kind of mentality and the opinions of looking towards the future. We're now seeing things that are changing the very shape of our society, the fabric of how we interact and how we do things. So that coupled with the turn of the century, you know, the year 1900, like all of these things are very symbolic. You've got the American Civil War. You've got the Franco-Prussian War, I believe. You've got the French Revolution. You've got all these things that are really uprooting the fabric of society and changing things around. Liberty, freedom, all these things are concepts that we're really giving weight to. Moving into the next century, Art Nouveau kind of capitalizes on all this, where people are so fed up with the destruction and the goriness of war and how it just shatters the human spirit, where there's now a pronounced inclination toward whimsy, towards fancy, towards fantasy, towards, you know, a rejection of the classicism that the 19th century kind of had, where it's religious, it's pastorals, it's, you know, a rigid structure to how paintings and how architecture and all these things were being done. Art Nouveau was a departure from that because it was fun. It was fun. And for real, it was Art Nouveau. It had never been seen before, celebrating this almost kind of departure from what was acceptable. Art Nouveau was colorful. It was very curvy and windy. We can put some examples up here. It really focused on the female form and all of its curvaceous, soft suppleness. And it bled into architecture. Art Nouveau architecture is so stunning. If you've ever seen any of Gaudi's work, that's technically classified as Art Nouveau. I would kind of, look, here's where my blind spot is Art Nouveau bleeds into surrealism for me, both in terms of art and in terms of architecture, because they toy with the same idea. Surrealism came about after World War I. Again, this utter confusion from how could humans do something like this to one another. It was a rejection of sense and of logic, because if you are capable of constructing a global war where the goal is to eradicate or to dismember or to cause as much destruction as possible to another party, then just throw out all the concepts we have of human decency, because that's essentially what you're, suggesting. This is very high concept. Obviously, I know global war is so much more complex than that. But on a philosophical level, that's kind of what these conclusions were being drawn. Of like, if we're capable of such cruelty, then nothing fucking matters. Thus, surrealism comes about. Then you get into Art Deco comes after that. Art Nouveau. If you've ever seen Casa Bayo I believe it's in Barcelona, this is, I think, one of the most pristine examples. Anything Gaudi did. Oh, Gaudi's light posts. Let's look at some of those. Or I guess lamp posts, if you want to be European about it. Gaudi was commissioned to design some light posts for some public spaces. And I mean, look at that. It's just whimsical. It's fantastical. They don't do shit like this anymore, dude. I'm pissed off. This modernism, it's not even modernism. It's just this clinical, white, minimalist design it's a plague on Western societies now. I hate it. I hate it. I am so ready to go back to like maximalist, eccentric, ostentatious interior design, architecture. There's a reason why people love shit like Art Deco, is because it's so much. The design permeates every single area of a space but at the same time, it celebrates a simplicity of design. I'll get into Art Deco. Hold on. Okay, so this is an example of Art Nouveau architecture. Wow. This is Casa Bayo from the outside. Just it's weird. It's new, it's colorful, it's whimsical. And then we all know the famous Art Nouveau ladies, the seasons. These seasons, there's so much to say about Art Nouveau. It celebrated the kind of Orientalism. Celebrate is one way to say it. It stole from a lot of Asian art and incorporated some of the shapes, the colors, the designs. Also, Art Nouveau was the main inspiration, or I guess it was a revival of the 60s flower power movement. When you see like Grateful Dead posters and all like Woodstock, all this, really all that typography and the design structure comes from Art Nouveau. It's a revival. And then you continue to see that brought up again and again. Same with Art Deco. But Art Nouveau, I love. It's just this whimsical. There's a lot of fairies. There's a lot of like this collaboration almost between nature and humanity and industry. All these things were wrapped up in one. And a lot of Art Nouveau architecture, you'll see beautiful stained glass and winding metal. It looks like leaves. It's all windy and curvy and asymmetrical, which I like. But at the same time, within all of these structures, there will be iron rods and iron rivets it's kind of an homage or a nod to the industrial age and how together we were entering into the 20th century with industry and with art combining to show us something we've never seen before. And I just think that's wonderful. It's celebrating the future. This also predates, or I guess it's around the same time of like futurism and cubism, and all these things swirl together in this beautiful, you can try to identify, okay, cubism started at this year and ended at this year. Art Nouveau was here to here, but I like to think of it as more of a fluid, everything inspires one another. And this was the height of this design style, and then it gave rise to this design style and whatever. There's no clear ending and beginning. So now we'll move into Art Deco. Art Deco was more global because Art Nouveau kind of began in Belgium, of all places. It began in Brussels. And it was really popular in England, France, and America. Art Deco was way more global. This was a more simplified version of how ornamental and how decorative Art Nouveau was. Art Deco really celebrated how industrial things had become. The sleek design of trains, the sleek design of air travel, once that became popularized. Cars, like all of these really, there's a futuristic element to Art Deco, which I think is why it's stood the test of time. It's almost like the Jetsons, this idea of the future where it's not as clinical and medical and plain looking as the future, quote unquote, is now. But it was this whimsical version of a futurist society that is so cool there's a reason we still gravitate towards it. Art Deco architecture is some of the most famous and popular in the world. When you think of cities like Miami, or cities like Tulsa, or cities even like LA, Art Deco is what comes to mind. And it's affiliated with this golden age of the Jazz Age, or of Gatsby, or of, this whole 20s, 30s, just luxury, decadence in the newer definition of the term, just something that is decadent, not so much that it's in poor taste or that it's like false luxury, just truly opulence. Theaters became very popular to decorate and construct in the Art Deco style. When you think of kind of more simplified patterns and lines, everything's very linear, not as many curves and asymmetrical design choices as in Art Nouveau. Art Deco is a lot of chevron. It's a lot of simplified curves. It's a lot of right angles. And everyone knows the typography, the font style of Art Deco. You see it on travel posters. You see it in bars and speakeasies. You see it on diners. You see it on movie theaters. All of this, it's so recognizable because it's so fucking good. It's ostentatious, but it's not too much. It's luxurious, but it's not in poor taste. Around this time, a lot of theaters were being constructed because now we're talking about the golden age of Hollywood. We're showing movie screenings in these theaters. A lot of design elements were, I'll say, stolen, inspired by, or stolen from Egyptian culture. This was around the time that King Tut was unearthed. A big fascination with ancient Egypt came about. So the Egyptian theater here in LA, I think the Pantages Theater, the Chinese theater, all of these things started popping up. There's a famous place in Miami that was like one of the first super famous Art Deco buildings. The name escapes me right now. But Art Deco is what I think has stood the test of time is, like I'm saying, its luxury element. For whatever reason, because this was in the 20s, even into the 30s, after the stock market crash, this was pre-World War II, where people affiliate it with just easy living and almost this new hedonism and decadence, and just it's accessible through its aesthetic. You don't have to actually be rich to enjoy the ostentatious design of what Art Deco offers. So I think it's important, as all of these art movements happen, to acknowledge where the design elements are coming from. And also, as it keeps coming back around, like Art Deco kept having a revival. It happened in the 20s originally. It came back in the 60s. Then it came back in the 80s. And then it came, it's like, wow, All that to say, it kept having its moment because it's just so damn good. This episode is sponsored by SeatGeek. I love getting the girls together and coordinating outfits for a concert, which is why I want to give the sponsor of today's episode, SeatGeek, a huge shout out. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports, festivals, and more. Right now, you can get tickets to Lorde, Renee Rapp, Benson Boone, Dua Lipa, Chris Stapleton, Gaga, Katy Perry, and more. I love using SeatGeek. I saw Hosier a week ago, and wow, he just keeps getting better, I'm telling you. I got my tickets last minute on SeatGeek, and me and the girls rounded up and went. SeatGeek has your back. So even if you do a last minute purchase, each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10. So you know you're getting a good deal. Look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad. Plus, every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. And y'all know I have a code. You can use code Broski2025 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off tickets with promo code Broski2025. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thanks, SeatGeek! Art Deco architecture, one of the most famous examples is the Chrysler Building in New York City. I mean, it's just so classically Art Deco. The repeated patterns, the curved lines, the, I wouldn't say that chevron, but like the use of geometry. It's not this free-flowing, curvaceous aestheticness of Art Nouveau. It's very intentional. So yeah, that's the main difference between Art Nouveau and Art Deco. I am, obviously like most people, especially because I'm American, I love Art Deco. When I see it, you know, something, my heart opens to it. I see it, my eyes kind of gloss over. But there's something very near and dear to my heart about Art Nouveau. And the more I learn about it, the more I'm intrigued by it. And I think it's because it taps into this piece of my brain that's very whimsical and very fantastical. And it's excitable by all that. I think nowadays it's easy to see something like that and think, oh, it's not professional, or it's not, like there's some aversion to whimsy, or maybe the fact that it's a very effeminate design style. I love it. And there's a reason why it's affiliated with things like Woodstock or things like when it had its revival in the 80s, because there's a freedom that comes with, it's almost like a liberating visual component to what society is experiencing at that time. So around the time of Woodstock, 1969, this is like, you know, pre-Vietnam War, like the anti-Vietnam War protests were happening, like a lot of, especially in America, a lot of civil unrest towards the government. And so going back to the turn of the century mindset of freedom and liberty and, you know, this almost sensual quality of what Art Nouveau was, of course that's going to come back and they're going to revisit that. I love that shit. I love that shit. So all that being said, oh, another thing, Art Deco, travel posters, a huge component of what Art Deco was and its lasting impact. In college, I decorated my room unknowingly with Art Deco travel posters, just because I liked the colors and the aesthetic, and I had my bedspread was like Amalfi Coast themed, and then I had all these really colorful, you know, Paris, Rome, whatever on my wall. I didn't realize those were Art Deco. I just saw them on Pinterest and I liked them, and I framed them in these really nice wooden frames. All of these, I know you know these, and guess what? Oh, dude. And this company, if y'all are still around, please reach out to me because I loved you bitches. There was a makeup company, a cosmetics company called The Balm. In 2015, 2016, I was addicted to The Balm because their design for one of their travel palettes, really smart, by the way. It was designed to be a travel palette, like a one-stop shop. It was an eyeshadow palette. It had blush, bronzer, highlighter, and it had a cream section that had a separate little thing that you put over it, and you would lift the little top off, and then you would do it was like a cream blush and then a lipstick, and then it had a mirror. And the theme of the packaging was this. It was all these different travel posters that were Art Deco themed, but it was the ladies in it. So it would be like Hawaii, and it would have like a beautiful Hawaiian woman with the lei and whatever, but it was in the Art Deco style, with the really simplified lip shape and whatever. I loved it. And then all of the shade names were welcome or bon voyage in different languages. Oh my, my dick is hard. Oh my God. I wish I could pull up a picture of this. What was it called? The balm, I think it was called Bon Voyage palette. Oh my God. Yes, this is it. This is it. Bro. Look at this shit. This was my favorite. Holy shit, I have to have the balm. If you're listening, please bring this back. Please bring this back and put new colors in it. Can you make an all cool tone palette? Oh my God. This was my favorite palette. Look at all the travel posters. Wow. Okay. Yeah, look, so you got 9 eyeshadows. You got a highlighter, 2 different blush shades, and you got 2 different cream. One was a pink base and one was an orange base. And then you had a bronzer. And get into this, girl. You had, oh my God, welcome, bienvenue, bienvenido, benvenuto, tervetuolo. What language is that? Welcome, willkommen, välkommen, failte. Is failte Irish? It's Irish! I'm sure that's not how you pronounce failte.
These phrase or this word meaning welcome in Irish and Scottish, as well as how to say more Irish expressions meaning welcome. Folter is how you say
Folter. Slancher.
in Irish.
Folter. Wow. Oh, dude. Okay. Anyway, Art Deco travel posters were a big, big, big thing because, and I just learned this last night and I was like, damn, the point was to make it less scary. Around this time, the war was over. World travel was being encouraged. The introduction of the airplane, of airlines like TWA were happening. So you now have passenger airlines, and they were trying to encourage global travel in a simplified, safe, beautiful way. And so something like this, I mean, come on, it nails just that. And at the same time, you have this opulence that's affiliated. So it's like the best of each city is being showcased and, maybe what they want to be known for. It's just stunning. So around this time, the reason that these also had a big boom is because these were everywhere. Really, really interesting. Around, I think 1933 was the World's Fair in Chicago. And so it's all these, it's just what a time. What a time. And I wish that eventually one day we'll make a return to a design that's supposed to be beautiful and colorful. We're going through such a tumultuous socio-political time right now. It's very curious to me, especially in the wake of AI and this argument or this fear that AI is going to replace the human artist, which I don't think will ever happen, because the reason that art is because it's from the human spirit, and AI will never be able to recreate that. And we'll get bored of it eventually after it's done destroying the fucking earth. We'll get bored of it, and there will be a return to just like true art will flourish, and I'm excited to see what it'll be. But this to me is I wonder if we'll go back to this and we'll draw inspiration from this and, put it to use in a different way, a new way. And I wonder what it'll be called, because Art Nouveau had a bunch of different terms, all in French, before it was kind of settled on Art Nouveau just through happenstance. But yeah, I'm very, very excited to see the future of when this period is over, and that doesn't mean that when this period is over and we enter into the next period, what will this period be called? All that to come, all that to be studied in sociology classes. All that is very, very interesting. Anyway, the balm, please bring this shit back, bro. This is my favorite palette. I took it with me everywhere. Okay, let's get into the songs of the week. I didn't even get into, I'll do my Victorian shit next episode, and I'm also going to wear this again. I'm going to wear this again because I have to. My songs of the week are Drumming Song by Florence and the Machine. Bitch, that shit came out in like, what, 2008? I'm still banging that shit like it came out yesterday. Drumming Song! Next, Gold by Two Hollis. Yeah, duh. I done it in my gold teeth. Next, This Is Fucked Up. This is fucked up and I know it's fucked up, but this song gets stuck in my head all the time. Don't even ask me how I came to find out about this song. It's a song called Heroin by the Tiger Lillies. I don't know. I love that fucking song. I love the Tiger Lillies. I think that I put them on and they make me feel, hey, ooh. Okay. I feel very ooh when I listen to the Tiger Lillies. I don't know. All right. If you guys want merch, go to broski.shop. Don't look at how greasy my hair is, please. And I'll see you lovely people on the next one. Be good and keep a wary eye on the horizon. Bye.